Hello.
Hello.
Greetings,
Hi, John.
salutations.
Hi, John.
Welcome,
Hey, I'm John. This is Earl. Earl's the cool one in the group. I'm the
smart one.
debatable. So we're gonna talk about bug out bags. We're gonna try to keep it a little different than here's the top 10 things that you need to throw in your bag right now and put in your closet and never touch again.
But we
So,
will cover that.
probably. I'm kind of interactive, so I like participation to a certain extent. I don't want to go down like 18 different rabbit holes. I do that myself anyway, so I don't need too much help. My ADHD goes wild and all that stuff. Anyway, can I count on y'all for participation?
Yes. Maybe.
All right.
She's really busy.
I'll take it. Okay, cool. Brought a couple bug out bags. I'm not really going to go into the nitty gritty as far as you need this brand or that brand. Not really my style. But I do have a question. What's the purpose of a bug out bag? This is where the participation comes into play.
Have what you need if you like go on the run.
Okay. What else?
Crickets.
Temporary means of sustainment while you get to where you're going.
Ooh, I like it. So everyone has a different definition, but it's to get to from point A to point B safely. That's my definition. Will my bug out bag be great for you? Probably not. Maybe. So there's this, anyone that asks a preparedness style question, usually the answer I come up with is 2 words. Anyone
Depends.
guess? It depends, yes. It depends on your situation, the environment, where you're going, all of that stuff. So that's something to really take into account. So a bug out bag, you're going to a bug out location. So that's assuming that you have a bug out location. You guys do have bug out locations, right? Okay. So that's part of it. So we all have to have a bug out location that's not at our home. Because there is that off chance that
Shit will hit the fan.
your home will not be sustainable. And please, Travis and I were talking about this earlier, do not bug out to a state park or a national park. This is a bad spot. You are not going to hunt, trap, scavenge, or fish your way to prosperity. Can guarantee it.
Good on armadillos here for probably a week.
Yeah.
And you'll be done.
That's it.
There's a few deer, but they're going to be gone quick too.
And the other problem is that how many other people have that idea? Saying, I'm going to go to Guadalupe. Thousands. So now you're going to have to compete with everyone else. Not the best idea. So now we know we need to have a location. Okay. We know that it needs to be a secure spot. I don't need to know specifics. We're going to keep it OPSEC friendly. But now we're going to look at distance. And this is where it really comes into play with the bug out bag, because what's everyone's first means of transportation to their bug out location? Car, vehicle. That's perfect. So for mathematics purposes, we'll keep this pretty straightforward. We'll say your bug out location is 30 miles from your house. Okay, let's say you can walk 10 miles a day. Cool. So how many days are we going to have to live out of this bag? At a minimum. 3. That's right. And that's at a minimum because things tend to go sideways. So now that we have that all out of the way, we can assume that, vehicles will break down. Or, you turn it on and it doesn't actually
work.
turn on. So that's why everything has to be carried on our back. Now, it doesn't have to be a kitchen sink. I brought 2 different versions. I brought the kitchen sink and then my hiking setup. As far as me, I'm a big backpacker. I have section hiked the Appalachian Trail, Palmetto Trail, a couple other places. So living out of these isn't really too difficult for me. Anybody ever heard the name Dave Canterbury? Yep. You were talking about the 5 C's of survival. Well, you were talking about the 10 C's. I go off of 5. The 10 makes life so much easier. Yes, but it is not mission critical in my mind. So 5 C's. I had to write them down because I can never remember them. I know they're in my bag though. We have cutting, cordage, cover, container, and combustion. Yep. All right, cool. I was sweating for a second. I was like, let me make sure that I have the right 5 C's. So you make sure all those are covered. Cutting, obviously, some kind of knife. Cordage, rope. Cover, that can be anything from a tent to a poncho to One of the things I'm going to talk about later. Yes, HUD. Yes. And it is dependent on you. So for HUD, axes are great. Me,
Chainsaw.
I'm never going to carry one. Too much weight for me. Tomahawk. Still too much weight for me. But I'll keep a fixed blade knife. But we could argue about that for days on end. Exactly. Container. What kind of container is everyone using? There we go.
Titanium.
Something to boil water in. Obviously, that's important. Combustion. What's everyone's combustion? There we go. I'm old school. I like a ferro rod
You
and some
got
fat wood.
ferro rod, matches,
Perfect.
lighter.
Everything after that is just easy because you've covered basically how to shelter yourself, how to keep yourself warm, how to purify water. It's really all you need for 3 days is to shelter yourself from the elements and keep moving. Make sure you have clean water. Easy enough, right? No? Maybe?
It's easier said than done.
Oh, well, you know, that's true. Got to practice it. Cool. So now we get into the really nerdy stuff. Extra things that are nice to have that I definitely recommend. An extra pair of socks. Water filtration. And a little bit of food. Personally, I've got my food storage right here. So I don't need to have a ton on my pack that's going to slow me down. I know that I can go 3 days without food. I'll be cranky, but I can do it. I've done it before. It's not great. But I'll keep a little food to keep me going. But now, really the most important thing that I talk about is using your gear. Just leaving it in, your closet, it's not doing you any good. So like this is my big bug out bag, if I don't trip and fall, that I camp out of. I'm actually currently camping out of it. The only thing that's missing from it is my sleep system. So my tent, my hiking poles, and my sleeping bag and my mat.
Why are they missing out of it?
Because they're in my camp.
You're already using them.
Yeah, because I'm already using them. Anybody think of why I'm using them? Why I'm camping out of my bug out bag?
Good practice.
Good practice. What else?
Knowing if you
Know if you have everything. There we go. Deficiencies. Shakedown. Seeing what you don't need. Seeing what sucks. I have a ton of old camping gear at my house that was in that bag at one point that is now not in that pack. Because when I needed it, it either didn't work or I found something better. The one time that you really don't want to find out that this piece of equipment doesn't work is when you actually need it, when you're depending on it.
Mm-hmm.
So all this is like a trial run for me. I'm testing out my bug out bag. I go rucking with that all the time. That's my rucking bag. So it's definitely seen a couple miles. So that's really what I'm doing out here is I'm pressure testing everything, seeing what I need to update, seeing what I need to change. I'm also using dual purpose items. So I mentioned my tent and my hiking poles. Well, my hiking poles actually hold up my tent. So I don't have to have tent poles to mess around with and add extra weight to my bags. I have a packable coat that packs into a package or into a little stuff sack, basically. It's built in. That is also my pillow. So I have a pillow that I don't have to worry about deflating because I've had that happen to me and that is awful. Now I have dual purpose. I have something to keep me warm, but also I can turn it into a pillow if need be. I have a tarp. You can use a tarp as a shelter.
what size is your tarp?
Oh, I think it's a 4x6. It's just enough to get me out of the elements. It's going to be a lean-to kind of shelter, windbreak. One of the most important things that no one thinks about is a trash bag. Anybody think of why I would have a trash bag? What you got, HUD? Yep. You can make a poncho out of it if you need to. You can do quite a bit with it. So
So
there's
use
just
it as a trash bag.
you can use it as a trash bag if you need to.
Who don't?
Exactly. that's actually about all I have. My main thing is to actually use the stuff that you buy. Find out, hey, you know, I bought this super awesome $30 knife off of Amazon, and then I try to strike a ferro rod and it breaks on me. Well, I'm glad I figured that out now instead of when I needed it, when I needed that fire to start. So with that, I am going to hand it off to Earl. He's going to talk about get home bags, and then we should have about 20 minutes for question and answers. Or if you guys want to see what's in my bug out bags, we can do that too. So with that, Earl.
All right. So get home bags. Get home bags are basically the same thing as a bug out bag, but they're smaller. They carry less items and things that you don't necessarily need when you're running out and doing a bug out. With the get home bag, this is designed, it's real small. I have a sample here. This goes with me everywhere I go. It's designed to get you home from work. You know, you work 10 miles or whatever, or 5 miles, or you go to HEB to the store. It goes with you. So some of the things for a get home bag that's really important is if you're working in an environment where you have to dress up, your suits, got your nice shoes on, is a pair of shoes and a pair of socks. Keep those in your car at all times. They don't have to go in your bag, but they can go in your car. The ladies, if y'all wear heels, you don't want to be walking 10 miles in heels. So have an extra pair of socks and a nice pair of tennis shoes or hiking boots or something in your car. With the get home bag, a bottle of water is something that you want to keep with you because you're going to be walking for a couple hours maybe. And it's always good to have that no matter what. Maybe a little bit of food, you know, a nutritional bar is good. Any type of a weapon of some sort to have with you is good. It could be a knife, it could be a handgun, anything that can help protect you in case you come across when you're walking to your home trouble. Not a whole lot else you really need in your get home bag. You can put a poncho in there in case you think it might rain, but you know, you're usually talking about a short time. You know, you're going to be walking for 2 or 3 hours at the max. This bag is there to help you do that. It's very simple. It's a bug out bag that's been reduced to half its size.
Take your big bug out bag when you're like traveling up here, when you know it's going to be a minimum of 5-6 days.
If I was doing it by myself, I would, but since I have a group of people here, I brought this bag instead. Because I know that we will be banding together and we'll all have enough combined with us to have what we need. If we were all trying to get back to San Antonio, then we'd be good. But typically, if I drive to Corpus, if I drive to Houston or something, I will take my bug out bag with me, which, you know, obviously has, you know, more food in it, has more water in it, has more gear, you know, tarps and stuff like that. But this stays in my vehicle wherever I go. I don't leave it in the vehicle, but it goes with me. If I go out to go pick up the kids from school, it goes in my vehicle. Granted, that's only a couple of miles away and I probably won't need it, but you never know. It's a habit that I take stuff with me wherever I go. I personally think that if you have something, you can be prepared and ready to go. You know, if your car breaks down and you can't get anywhere, you have something that's there in your car with you 24/7. You go somewhere, your bag goes with you. And that's the hard part is people, they make the bags and like John said, they put it in the closet. You got to get in the habit of taking it with you because it's that one time that you're going to wish that you needed it and I left it on the kitchen floor. So you got to get in the habit of taking it with you. That's really.
Ours in our trunks of our cars.
Say it again.
I leave ours in our trunks of our vehicles.
Absolutely, that's perfect. Yeah, that way it stays with you. That's what I mean. It has to go with you.
I had ours as a full bug out in the trunk because we travel.
Yeah.
So I've never made it smaller.
Yeah, and I have the bigger ones, the bug out bags, but you know, this is designed specifically for short distances, long, you know, not a get out of Dodge for 3 days. It's a, you know, if you work within 10, 15 miles maximum of your house, it's aids you to get back. And then that from there you take your bug out bag and your family and do what you got to do. Yes.
Do you have a small first aid kit?
Absolutely. Yeah. First aid kit. That's a good point. I forgot to bring that up. I have an IFAC, which is an infantry first aid kit. I have those for all my backpacks. They got almost everything you'll need for any type of minor injury that you'd get and some majors. Um, they're pretty cheap. You can get those all over the place for $40 or make your own, you know, or get some band-aids, whatever you want, however heavy you want it to go. Everything weighs. So, like John just said, speed is of essence in the beginning. You got to get home fast and get your act together and grab your family and do what you got to do. Say it again? Yeah, and it makes a difference. You know, you're hiking with a bug out bag that weighs 50 pounds and you're trying to do 30 miles. You're not going to be doing 10 miles a day. You might the first day, but that second day you're going to be going, I don't know about this, especially if you're not used to doing it. Right.
I used to actually train with mine, and I like
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, day one, I thought it was going. I actually had to have a ride home. I was like, drive me home, and they're like, you do like 20, 30 miles every weekend. Why is this? Take me home.
Yeah, you put 40 or 50 pounds on it, makes a difference. Yep.
And so I practiced until I could do it without it.
It's just like land nav, where it's a depletable skill.
Yeah, you gotta practice.
A physical skill.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's about it, really. I've got. If y'all want to look at what I have in mind, like John had open house on that, we could do that.
What questions do we have? Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, even things like Travis's poncho we saw,
It was stuck together.
it was sealed together on both sides because it was in your car, right? And you know, a car, it's routinely 140 degrees, so it's gonna
easily. Yep.
But he found that out way before he needed it, so I'm sure he's gonna make adjustments. And it's just like anything in there. I mean, one of the stories that I hear, there is a stop. It's about, I think, 20 miles at the southern terminus of the Appalachian Trail, where there is a stop where they will do a bug out back shakedown, where basically they'll tell you, hey, you've got way too much stuff, and there are piles of gear.
I heard about it.
Yeah, it's a sight to behold, and the people realize really quick, like, hey, maybe I shouldn't have brought canned food in my bag, and things along those lines, where they're thinking, I'm gonna carry this 80-pound pack like it's nothing, and then they get out there and they realize it's not quite that easy. And you know, I think I was that person probably 10 years ago, and went hiking and got smoked a couple times and said, hey, maybe I should sit down and think about this. And then I pressure tested, and why I live out of my bug out bag, so I can say, hey, it's ready.
Doing 10 miles in this type of environment is, with a 50-pound back, is not fun.
Yes.
It is absolutely hard on your body.
And the second and third day, like you said, are very difficult. It's rough.
You're going to wish you had some Advil.
Yes.
You have food in your ruck bag?
Yes.
What kind of food?
So usually I do deconstructed MREs. There's a lot of stuff in there that I consider extra. That's just going to be extra weight. Like HUD said, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. So I've pulled a lot of... Yes. I pulled a bunch of extra stuff out of there that I don't like. And I mean, it could be as simple as my cooking system. Getting the smaller cans, it's lighter, it takes up less space, so I can have a smaller bag. That's why you'll see the main difference is my hiking backpack is crazy light in comparison. So I can make that choice. Do I need to move fast, cover a lot of ground? Or am I, carrying more for extra people in my family. And that's another thing you have to take into consideration. Your family members, any kind of medication that you might need. Have that in there as long as you can. And then make those changes and say, hey, I have a little brother that I take care of and he's not physically strong. So I know I'm going to have to carry some extra stuff for him. Then I'm taking the bigger bag. Yes, Hud.
Another consideration is what is your bag preference? Y'all can tell I prefer a backpack
Yes.
or a backpack. I call it my scout bag, but that's another choice. Where you're going to come up with that is
Yeah.
for a scout or for a get home.
Exactly.
Try it before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Now, if I'm going to stay out 72 hours or more, then I'll go to a rough side.
sure. Another thing is just perception. So this bag, there goes the shirt, and this bag give two different messages.
Militia, citizen.
Which one do I want to portray for the day? So that's another thing to consider. If you want the cool Molly everything, just be aware that you're going to be seen as either a hard target or a threat. Whereas that, maybe, but also I could just be hiking. So all considerations, and there's no right answer because it's different for each person and their needs. Well, cool. So we have 10 minutes. Any questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts? Not too loud, hopefully.
I think going off of what you just said, your bag depends on the situation. Also depends on where you are. If you're walking around San Antonio and you have a poly bag,
Yeah.
everybody's got it, and everybody's little brother's got them, and everything. Mom and dad, everything else, so that someplace outside of
Yeah. Depends on what's in style.
yeah, and it, and you have to take it. A lot of people do not consider it viable. I do.
The Alice packs, they're great.
I can honestly say I've Dallas a hell of a lot more than I have my wife. I've got thousands of miles of Dallas on my back. I have no problem.
So who has bug out bags here? No, not just here, just in their possession at some point. Who owns them? When was the last time that you went out and rucked with it? Today? There we go. Week ago? Perfect. Anybody want to admit that it's been a while? Last spring, okay.
I don't do heat very well.
Understandable. Anyone else? Did I change anyone's mind? Well, Hud, you don't count. I know you're set in your ways. Perfect.
That brings up another idea. Mental flexibility.
Yeah,
Situations change. You can't adapt. All the gear in the world that do you get.
exactly. That's true. That's a good point. Okay, what else do we have?
I've done this not for bags, but just for the bug out process itself, is I keep a cheap bike at my office to get home because for me, it's 40 miles to get home.
Yep, that will speed it up. 40 miles is a little bit of a hike.
Yep.
How many days do you think that would take to hike?
5.
5 days? Okay. So how long will that take you on a bike? A day?
Day.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Now,
a cheap bike and you're even like one folding one. You
yeah,
can-
folding bike.
If you have a car, if you're not 5 miles, if you're 15, 20, it's not bad to keep something like that just in case.
Yeah. Now maybe Jeffrey would have a smaller bag because of that. Because, I mean, don't want to topple over. But he doesn't need a giant bag if he's only going to be a day's ride. So all these considerations. It all depends.
Piggybacking on Jeffrey, actually invented the movie The Great Escape from World War II was based on one escapee that made it back to 29.
Good point. All right.
Blend in with everybody else, cover a lot of ground, but not aggressive, not strong.
Very cool.
It's an old one.
No, it's old, yeah.
I think motorcycle. No, he was a professional motorcycle. It's based on from Rentwell, from Allies Safety from one of the
All right. So is everyone going to go home and put their bug out bags back in their closet and not touch it for like 4 months?
told that I can't leave mine out.
But are you going to just not touch it anymore?
I want to run with it.
That makes me happy. Anyone else? Thank you. Thank you. It makes me happy.
Mine's going to go in the closet and stay.
Well, Earl, I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's where it's at right now.
He's going to make me go bald.
I took mine apart last night and made sure everything was still good.
Thank you. Thank you. Pressure test your gear because when you need it, you want it to work.